Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to GST's YQMA, episode number 25, where today we talk about ab work, mistakes that people make with their ab work, and what you should really be doing to make sure that your ab work doesn't ruin your physique. And as you can see, we might have a special guest appearing in and out of today's video. I call him Louie. He's the GST mascot, and he's a year-old boxer that was given to me as a surprise by my wife and kids for my last Christmas present. So he's been good so far. He's growing. Obviously, he's got a lot of energy and personality because he's a boxer. And I think if we're lucky, he might just hang out right here and be a good boy. So let's get on with the video. So I want to start with mistakes that people make in choosing their ab exercises and in the way that they go about performing those exercises. A lot of people want that tight V-taper look, which requires a wide set of shoulders, wide lats, and a tiny waistline. Now, ab work directly affects the size and shape of your waistline, so you need to be careful when you're choosing your ab exercises. One thing to keep in mind is that it's important to work the ab muscles that are more in the front. When you think about your actual six-pack, you know, when you look at somebody's stomach and they have a six-pack, that's what you're seeing is those front abdominal muscles. Now, a lot of people think about working their obliques really hard, and if you look at people that have really big obliques, and the obliques are those muscles on each side, people will call them love handles. I think there's some other terms for them as well, but we're calling them the obliques because that's what they are. And those are those side ab muscles. Now you can imagine that if you build up muscles on the side of your midsection, your waist is going to widen out and it's going to grow just more blockier because you're building it out. And if you look at people with huge developed obliques, you're going to notice that they have a blockier, wider looking waist. And when you're going for that true ultimate V-taper look, a blocky wide waist is the last thing you want. You want your waist to be slim looking from the front, and from the side you don't want to look very thick in the waistline either. I mean, you want your waist to be small and tight all around. So when you're choosing your ab exercises, it's not smart to place a heightened focus on the obliques. If you want to work them every once in a while, that's fine, but you should never have a high frequency of oblique work, and it should never be your primary focus when you're thinking about working your abs in general. What you want to do is you want to work those muscles that make up your six-pack, because more pronounced front ab muscles are going to give you that more defined look when you're lean, some deeper cuts, and that's what people really want. That's not going to widen out your waist from the front. And as long as you're not bloated on stage and you keep those muscles tight when you're posing, even from the side, developed six-pack muscles or frontal abs, they shouldn't take away from your posing at all or from your general physique. So when we choose ab exercises, just remember to focus on muscles that stay away from the obliques. It's okay to work them somewhat, but the focus should not, that primary focus should not be on the obliques. So think about doing movements like sit-ups, decline sit-ups, kneeling cable crunches, and different leg raise variations. Also plank variations work well. Those work well to work the muscles of the core that you should focus on the most and stay away from the obliques. Now, when you do work your obliques from time to time, standing dumbbell crunches are great. And that's just that oblique crunch where you're rocking from side and then back up and then side and then back up, holding one dumbbell. Don't be the person in the gym that's doing oblique crunches standing with one weight in each side, because basically you're just countering, you're just like a teeter-totter or just like a balance with one weight on each side. So whenever you see somebody doing that, you can be assured that they could use the tip of just hanging on to one dumbbell at a time. But choose the right ab exercises for your goal. If your goal is a strong V-taper, definitely take into consideration what I just said about working the obliques minimally and focusing more on those frontal six-pack ab muscles primarily. The second issue that people have with their ab work is the way that they set it up. So you have your exercises chosen. Maybe you chose great exercises, but you can also mess up in how you perform them, specifically how frequently and the rep range. Now, when it comes to frequency, I think that over time, what you've seen on TV and in the media has really encouraged frequent ab work, almost daily, if not daily ab work. And the reason that this is happening is because it's easier to sell a product if it has to be used every day. I mean, it's easier to retain that customer if they have to use it every day. And the problem with that is one of the methods that's great for bringing up weak points and maximizing growth of a specific muscle group is to train it more frequently, resulting in more volume. And that increased volume and frequency of protein synthesis equates to more growth quicker. Now with your abs, when you want that V-taper and you want that tight, trimmed looking midsection, growth, maximal growth is not something that you want. You want your abs to make progress along with the rest of your body. You don't want them to make accelerated growth, because what's going to happen is you are going to increase the circumference and the look of your waistline. And that is not what you're aiming to do. You don't want to increase the size of your waistline at a quicker rate than you're increasing the size of the rest of your body. Keep it in perspective. You want to keep things tight in the midsection, not blow it up extra quick. So when you're choosing your ab frequency, I actually never prescribe ab weak point training to anyone, because typically by default GST programming already works your abs twice per week, and that's plenty. As long as you're choosing quality exercises and sticking to that once or twice per week frequency, that should be enough to keep your abs strong, keep them gaining strength along with the rest of your body, but not putting an emphasis on accelerated growth. Because once again, you don't want that. Keep things tight, keep the abs symmetrical with the rest of your body. So don't train them too frequently. And they don't need extra volume when you train them as well. Use the same volume that you use for other body parts that you're training traditionally. It's this really common misconception that you need to do more for abs more often, and it's just a mistake. This video is here to bust that myth and also just put reasoning behind the myth busting. It's cool when somebody says that's a myth and this is why, but it's even cooler when somebody says that's a myth, this is why, and here's the reasoning behind it. So that's what I'm aiming to do here, and I hope that it really gets the point across that train your abs traditionally, not too frequently, and make smart ab choices. Otherwise, you'll actually detract from your physique by building your waistline into a larger waistline, a blockier waistline, and you're going to take away from that V-taper, which is important for all stage divisions, and even for people that don't compete. I don't know anybody that comes to me and says, I'd like to increase the size of my waistline and make it look more blocky. That's not something I've ever heard, and my tips on ab training reflect that. If you have any questions on ab training, feel free to comment below, reach out to me through ryan@growthstimulustraining.com, text the question to 919-671-8585, and I will get back to you quickly. My goal is to continue to pass knowledge, and I can do that by just being personally available to anybody who wants to ask me a question. And if you would, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, gain that knowledge on a daily basis. And as it turns out, Louis actually passed out behind me, so this turned out really well. He made his appearance, let himself be known, and then fell asleep, which is I think that's what a lot of us would like to do from time to time. So to be a dog would be great, but to be a human that can kick ass in the gym and make progress in the gym, I would say is even a little bit better. So thank you again for watching. I appreciate the views.